What's up, guys? I go by Evan, and today I want to touch on how to heal your inner child. Let's get into it. Have you ever wondered why, as adults, we tend to think things that we think or react to certain situations the way that we react to them, or to retaliate about certain things that we shouldn't? The truth is, everything we do is based off of our inner child, what we went through as a child, childhood trauma and childhood issues. And today we're gonna touch on that. I wanna give you guys a brief example of someone from a TV show with abandonment issues because of his childhood trauma. His dad left when he was very young. I think he was about 8 years old. Then when he finally reunited with his dad, he found out that his dad has cancer and was going to die. Not too long before that, he lost his childhood friend to gun violence. And years down the line, he lost his football coach, who was basically taking him under his wing and treating him like a son. That character is Spencer James, and I wanna give you guys a brief example. Guys, watch this clip right quick.
I can't stop whatever it is inside of me that keeps telling me, see, don't nobody want to stick around. You're always the one left behind.
That voice is little Spencer, whose father left him at 8 years old. You've got to stop letting that one incident touch every relationship you have. That had everything to do with Corey and his worth and nothing to do with you and yours.
Did you guys hear what he said in that clip? Did you notice how he didn't realize that he was reacting to certain situations the way he was reacting to them? And he didn't realize he had all those skeletons in the closet buried away for years at a time. And I feel like that's what we don't realize as adults. We have to learn to acknowledge our inner child, because everything that our inner child went through affects everything we do today and our relationships. And we have to realize that these traumas and these skeletons that are in the closet are influencing our behaviors as adults. If you guys are familiar about how the brain works, our subconscious mind actually naturally pushes traumas to the back of our brain so we don't have to think about it. It's a defense mechanism. However, it can become toxic, because if you don't bring those things that triggered you or that traumatized you to the surface, then they're gonna continue to affect the relationships that you make all throughout your life. And what happens is, when we're kids, our subconscious mind isn't mature enough to handle those traumas. So what happens is, our brain essentially pushes them to the back of our head and is like, okay, that wasn't a big deal, I'll just act accordingly next time. Then anytime that situation arises that triggers that trauma that you dealt with when you were a child, you react the same way as you did when you were a kid. Have you ever been in a relationship and you and your partner were arguing a lot, and your partner asked you, why does this anger you so much? Why is this really getting under your skin? The next time that happens, I want you to step back and observe and think about why that really does get under your skin. Like, why was I upset that she did this? Or why was I upset that he did this? We have to really dig deep and figure out what it was that triggered us, because figuring out what triggered us is the step in the direction of healing. People don't realize that most relationships fail because childhood traumas are not dealt with. They're not properly dealt with, and then the trauma tends to fight with each other in the relationship. So if the girl has childhood trauma and the dude has childhood trauma, and that trauma goes together, it's just gonna explode every time. It wasn't about who was right or wrong. It was about someone's feelings being hurt and the other person not addressing those feelings correctly. Because if you really sit and ask yourself, why does this really bother me? Why is this so triggering? It's not even that big of a deal. And the truth is, it's not. It's just that you were triggered by a certain event because of your childhood trauma. This also ties into unlocking our fears. A lot of the times we have fears based off of something that happened when you were a kid. Let's say you were really young and it was around Halloween time like it is now, and your mom or your dad walked in your room with a clown mask on, and that traumatized you as a kid. Let's say you were like 5 years old. Now, into adulthood, you're terrified of clowns. But what you don't realize is why you're terrified of clowns. Let's say you were a young kid and your father walked out on you at a young age, similar to the clip that I showed you in the beginning of this video. Now, all the relationships that you build, you take with a grain of salt, because you only let yourself attach to that person, but so much, in fear of them walking away or leaving you. These are all defense mechanisms. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. This can be fixed. It can also be something as simple as going back to kindergarten and you were so interested in this girl and You finally worked up the courage to tell her that you had feelings for her, and she told you that you were ugly or something like that, or she told you that she didn't feel the same way. Now, in your adult years, you're scared to approach women, or you're scared to talk to women or tell them how you feel because you have a fear of being rejected or feeling that same hurt that you felt when you were 5 years old in the sandbox in kindergarten. So the first step in healing is to become aware of the issue. A lot of people bash therapy, but the truth is there's nothing wrong with therapy. It doesn't mean you're crazy, and it's actually really good for you if you're open-minded. If you're not open-minded and you're closed off to the fact of therapy working, it won't work. But therapy is one of the best things to do because it brings a lot of things to the surface that you didn't know were there. You have to bring those wounds to the surface so that you can heal them. The next thing is to let go of the past. I know that's easier said than done, but the sooner you let go, the quicker you can realize that you were holding on to these grudges and move on. And it will feel like a weight was lifted off of your shoulder. A way that I've found that you can do this is to forgive yourself. You don't even particularly have to have a conversation with the person who hurt you, but if you forgive them and forgive yourself, you will be able to properly move on, I promise. And once you do this, in all of your new relationships, you'll be able to see a different perspective, and you'll be able to step back and be like, okay, this is why I was feeling this way, or this is how this made me feel. Because that's all relationships come down to, and friendships as well. And the final thing I have is be there for yourself. Once you acknowledge these wounds and you do the necessary work to heal them, picture yourself being there for your younger self. So for me, I'm 23 right now, about to be 24. And let's say 24-year-old me goes back to hurt 5-year-old me and has a conversation with them. I want you guys to try that. Really get in a mode, close your eyes if you have to, and picture your younger self and go back to that moment when you were hurt and talk to yourself and figure out why you are feeling the way you feel and let out all of those demons and emotions because it's hindering you from success. You can even do something as far-fetched as giving your younger self an air hug. I know a lot of this sounds crazy, but you know what you went through and you know the necessary steps that you would need to take to fix it. Only you can do the work. I can only tell you how to do it. So I hope this video helped someone who was in need of healing their childhood trauma or wants to take the first necessary step to doing so, because you can beat those little stinky traumas. I know you can. I believe in you. We're in this together. So if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.